Welcome to Mars.
All right, welcome back to Mars Radio. We're here with our next guest. I'm going to go ahead and let this man introduce himself. Sir, go ahead and introduce yourself to the Mars Radio platform.
Mars Radio, what's going down? My name is Jose Santana. Pleasure to be here. Honored. Thank you for having me here on your platform, brother.
Awesome. So, Jose Santana from the legendary families, the Santanas, obviously, right?
Thank you.
Okay, cool. And where are you from?
I'm from Daly City.
Daly City. Okay, cool. And where did you grow up?
I was born in San Francisco and then raised in Daly City. So, back and forth, just, because Daly City and San Francisco, the proximity is literally like a 7-minute drive from where I grew up. And, my parents, my family is from the Mission area. So we would continue to go out there on the weekends during the week. My mom and dad would get their supplies from there, for cooking on the weekends, all the Mexican certified tortillas and salsas and produce and everything. So it was on a regular basis, going out there, beautiful area.
So they're so close to each other, they touch, like you were saying. So it's pretty much, you're pretty much from both. You got a little bit of spice and sauce from both sides?
Yes, I was sprinkled heavily.
Got you. And did you grow up with both of your parents?
Yes. Thank God I still have both of them.
Yeah, I interview a lot of people all the time, and you'd be surprised to hear how many people don't answer that with the answer you just did. A lot of people growing up, me, myself, I didn't have both parents. So do you feel lucky and blessed to be able to say you grew up with both your parents?
I do, especially now because they're both 81.
Okay.
And it is people don't make it to that age.
God bless them and their health.
Yeah.
81 is a good number. A lot of people don't reach that.
And they're both mentally sharp,
Nice.
And my dad, le vale madre, he's still, I feel like I'm like his age, my son's age when I'm around him, bro. He still scares the death out of me.
So they still know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. God bless them. God bless them. So growing up with both parents, did you have a lot of friends or relatives even or people around the neighborhoods that didn't have both parents?
There were.
Did you notice differences in your upbringing and their upbringing? Them not having the benefit of having both parents in their life?
I would say, yeah. I would say that there was a difference that now that I'm older,
right,
I can look back and see that I'm blessed to have the guidance of my father and my mother. My father to have the male example to follow and to guide me, and then to have my mother's beautiful woman's touch because I was sprinkled with both of them. So I am here who I am today because of both of them.
There you go. I'm glad you got the privilege of growing up with both of them. There's just something about growing up as a man and seeing a man as an example, right? And I think that's a lot of times it's overlooked why some of these people grow up with issues and problems. And it's like, well, they might not necessarily have been taught everything that they should have, but luckily you had that in your life. So what kind of kid were you growing up?
I was kind of shy? a little bit, but I always wanted to be into everything that was happening. I had 3 older brothers. One passed away, rest in peace. But they would have friends over all the time, so I always would like to be around and see what they're doing.
As far as the kind of kid, I mean, more specifically, were you like into the gangs? Were you into sports? Were you like a nerd? Were you like what kind of personality did you have growing up? What kind of kid were you?
In elementary school, I was just more into studying. I didn't go out too much. My parents were like,
strict
because I had 3 older brothers who fucking ran amok.
They ruined it for you.
Yeah. So, but when I got to junior high school was when I got to start to see a lot of other things, and the more street orientated activities in junior high school.
What were some of the type of things that you started to notice in junior high? As you were starting to navigate and notice more of the street stuff, what were some of the things that stood out?
Gangs became a part of going to school every day. Noticing people from different areas, and having issues with each other.
I bet you had to learn that quick, huh?
Yes, yes. So I was blessed to learn how to navigate these situations, and then in high school, and then just being around, helped mold me. Right. And everything is a life lesson.
And then, so when you got to the high school, what kind of student or teenager were you in high school?
Well, when I first got to high school, I had about 75 absences my freshman year.
You got lost?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, detours.
Yeah, sophomore year, I started I started hanging out with the people I hung out with. And gangs were really heavy at the school that I went to. It was a lot of Crips and Bloods at the school that I went to.
Well, that's unique because a lot of people say there's no gangs in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it was crazy because
they were at your school though.
Yeah, there was a heavy Filipino population.
Okay.
And there were a lot of Crips and there were a lot of Bloods, and then there was Samoans. I hung out a lot with the Samoans. Yeah, it shit escalated quickly there, but I was able to maneuver
how'd you navigate around that to stay out of that, to not get involved, because a lot of youth find themselves caught up in that without even realizing it, and then they get so deep that it's too late to get out. How'd you avoid getting involved heavily with the gangs?
Well, I didn't completely avoid it in high school. There were things where you get into situations when you hang out with certain people.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a part of that or not, because when you're with them and you run into somebody who is not with what they're doing, there's no time to explain.
And they label you.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm not, I'm hanging out with them, but I'm not I don't, and then you're with them. So if something happens, you gotta,
and then even explaining it could be called out as.
Yeah, so you just have to do what you got to do. But what really helped me was the music, because I was already rapping. I started rapping in junior high school. I fell in love with it. And sports really helped guide me to have something else to do. Yeah. Like I had things that I had to do. I had things that I had to attend to, so it would keep me out of trouble. Like after school, I had to go do sports, or I wanted to go write songs, because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And in my brain, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything with this music if I'm not applying myself. Got it. And I'm not writing. So that's all I would do.
So to stay out of trouble, so to speak, and out of those situations, you filled that time with something positive and energy, sports, music, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay. And what was your sport of choice?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Surprise. Right? A Latino like it's soccer.
I love basketball, but I was better at soccer.
Yeah, soccer. And how far did you go with that?
Just through high school.
Just through high school.
I played from third grade all the way to senior year in high school.
Who's your favorite soccer player, by the way?
Growing up, it was Hugo Sanchez from the Mexican national team, and then he played for Real Madrid. Right now, my son, he's on Ronaldo and Messi.
I think it's the hair, man.
Yeah,
he's got awesome hair.
Yeah, so I go for the Mexican national team and the U.S. team. So
you said another thing that kept you out of trouble was music.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first memory of doing music or discovering music or finding out something like music was important to you. The first memory of it.
The first memory of music, probably going to Tower Records, and the first rap album. I want to say, let's go back to Ensenada. I was in Tijuana. Okay. We would take a trip out to Tijuana and Ensenada every year for a while when I was growing up, and we went to the swap meet in Tijuana. And the first album that I bought was Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. And I slapped that in with my headphones, and it blew my mind, because of just what they were saying, the language they were using.
Was it something you had never heard before?
Yeah, it definitely was, because it was like listening to a movie, the way that album was put together.
Nice.
And then I just fell in love with it.
So you fell in love with it, but is that what made you think you could do it?
No, that did not officially happen until I was in junior high school. Okay. And I walked into my 7th grade science class. There was a gentleman there, Pookie Courtney Hall. Shout out to Pookie Courtney Hall. He was at his desk. I've told the story. I've told him. I've run into him and I thanked him. But he was at his desk and he was like, and I went up to him. I was like, "Hey, homie, what are you doing?" Right. And he was like, "I'm writing a rap." And I was like, "Bullshit, let me hear it." So he busted it. I was like, ugh. So I went home. No lie, bro. I came back the next day with 4 pages, margin to margin, full. I didn't know I could do it, but I just tried, and I got bit by that bug. And I went and I spit him to him. He was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah. So I just started doing it, and then I just navigated towards people that rap too in school, and it wasn't that many at that time. Right. Now you go fucking, everybody. Yeah. So, but I fell in love with it, bro. I'm a hip hop child for sure.
So the first memory you have of music is hearing pretty much something foreign to you that you'd never heard before, almost like the news or a movie, you said, over beats, right?
Yeah.
Then fast forward, you're in junior high science class with your guy, and he's doing something. Does it bring back the memory of what you heard through Public Enemy, or does it just something totally different that clicks like, hey, I can put words together as well?
Maybe subconsciously there was a correlation, but at that time I just was inspired, and it was just like probably seeing your presence under the Christmas tree, you know, when you're a little kid. So I was juiced. I was juiced that I was even able to do it. You know, I was calling people, busting my raps over the phone, and then that just continued. So yeah, I got bit by that. It was
exciting.
Bug. Hell yeah.
It was very exciting. So moving forward, right? Obviously, after getting that music bug, you move forward, getting around other people that do music, right? So that way you can get in the right circles and possibly learn how to put together a product. When did you start taking it serious and, you know, grabbing studio time and formatting bars and learning how to write songs? When did you start? When did you take it to the next level, so to speak?
Shit, from the first rap I wrote, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. For real. Like, that was my mentality.
You had a game plan right away.
Not a game plan, but I just knew that this is what I want to do. Like, I fucking want to blow up. But I started recording in a studio probably when I was 17, 18. There was a place called J-Lab Studios in Daly City. And I found it, and then I was able to put together a whole album. My first album was called Lost in the Game, and I all the people from that little area right there that I had an ear to, that I grew up, because you know when you grow up and you run into other people that are rapping, you know, you don't forget those people. So I made friendships with them because growing up I wanted to be around people who rap. So we would have a freestyle circle. So I put them all on the album. And then from there, it was just, you know, constant ascension for me. I wanted to just keep moving up. The next album I had, In the Face of Judas, I had Kubnut, rest in peace, Selsky, Quinn, JT, Mac Mall, The Outlaws, Yuckmouth, Sibo, hella people. So that was the second album. And then from there, that's when I hooked up with Julio Gotos, and you know, I did Julio, and I did the album with him, and then you know we've been rocking ever since. So it's just been constantly. I wrap one project up, and I'm already like, okay, what's next?
So early since the beginning, you found more success than the average artist, because average artists aren't able to put together features and roster like that, like you did for yours. You know, working with great artists like that. What was it that enabled you to get, you know, up the ranks so quick? Because most people struggle to count bars and figure out how to put an album. Here you are, first time out, and you got, you know, you're off to the races. How was that? How did that come about?
Well, I became a student quickly, because when you get into the studio, you know, the engineers are like talking about bars. I didn't know what the fuck bars were. I was like, what do you mean? Like happy hour? You know? But exactly. So I figured it out, because to me a bar was one complete rhyme, right? But to them, that one bar was 2 bars. So I just did the math in my head. Okay, so my 8 bars is really a 16.
Right.
How to do it. So then I just, from then on, I multiplied it, right? But I did my first album cover, Lost in the Game, was done by this dude named Khan. Serious Artifacts. And he did Selsky's Canadian Bacon album cover, and he did Killer Tay's Mafioso album cover. So I was like, hey, bro, can you get me in contact with them? He was like, yeah, all good. So he got me in contact with Selsky, and he got me in contact with Killer Tay. I hit Selsky up, and then we coordinated something. And when he got to the studio, he had this other dude, this tall black dude with him, and the dude comes up to me and he goes, hey, what up? And I was like, oh shit, that's Kubnut.
Right.
You know, and Selsky was like, this is Kubnut. You might want to holler at him about getting on the song too.
Right.
So that's how that happened. I ended up doing this song called Sunset to Sunrise, and I had Kubnut and Selsky on that, and that shit, that's still one of my favorite songs, because that's the first time I've ever did a song with somebody I grew up listening to. And it was them two, and I was listening to do their verses, and it was like I was listening to one of their songs. And then the engineer was like, it's your turn. And to me, that was like a life-altering moment, to be able to collab with my peers.
Absolutely. It's probably like being able to shoot hoops with an NBA player.
Yeah, to
You know what
me,
I mean? Like
yeah,
you and Clay are just over there shooting free throws or
yeah.
shooting threes or something.
And seeing their process, they're both animals in the booth. You know, two of the dopest from that section.
Absolutely. Selsky's still doing music to this
Yeah,
day.
he is. Shout out to Selsky. He's one of the coolest, most humble dudes I know. Whenever I see Selsky, it's always love.
Awesome, awesome. So, so when did you start getting most of your popularity? Which album was it? Was it after you got with Gold Toes? Was it that first one? Was it the one with Selsky and your features, or when did you gain your momentum and popularity?
I think it just gradually, like with every project, it was like another level that would enhance, as you would say, popularity. And shit, we're still going. You know what I mean? We're still
Right.
we're still pushing. Um, the Black and Brown album definitely put me on a different radar.
Right.
You know, there's because Black and Brown at that time had like a built-in fan base,
Mm-hmm.
so that exposed me to that fan base. And the album prior to that, with all the I was blessed enough to have a lot of features that opened some eyes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been every project I feel like has exposed me to different people and has kept some of the people from the previous
Right.
people that latched on. So
it's kind of like adding on to your fan base little by little with
yeah,
every
just
project.
the resume just keeps building.
And tell me about the crossover process as far as the fan base, because you have obviously you have the Latin community, but then doing projects and songs and collaborations with some of the other type of artists. How has that been to be able to cross your fan base over like that? So that way you're just not just on the Latin side or just on the black side. You know, more of an area, more of a district, more of a style and a flavor.
You know, I've never really looked at it, especially early on. I never really tripped off, oh, he's this or he's that. Growing up, at first, it was more collaborations with black artists because there wasn't as many Latin artists that were doing it.
That's the truth, for sure.
So it was just kind of by default,
right?
Right. I had homies. Shout out my boy Chopper. We did a group called the Hardheads, and he was one of the other Latin cats that were doing it at that time. But I never really tripped, bro. Like, it's just whoever was doing rap, that's who I was collaborating with. And then, because I learned Spanish to speak Spanish before I learned how to speak English.
Right.
Like, I learned,
Spanish is your first language?
Yeah, I learned English watching Sesame Street, shit like that.
Maria.
Yeah, But so as I got older, that's when I started to experiment with the Spanish stuff, and I got whole songs in Spanish that I've done, and I noticed a different response from them, and like more of I could play my Spanish stuff for a wider range of like audiences.
Right.
I feel like even like my parents, I could play the Spanish stuff for them, and they trip off of it because they can understand what I'm saying.
It's weird to explain, but you get almost more listens, right, when you put the Spanish flavor on it. They feel threatened less by it or something like that. I don't know how to explain it either, but more people are more open to the Spanish stuff that I've done myself as opposed to the other stuff that, the people that won't give it a chance, they might when it's Spanish involved and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've noticed also it's another fan base because like you can do the clubs and stuff with the regular music, but when you put the Spanish twist on it, now you're open up to like car shows and you know what I mean, different Latino functions and stuff. So that's why I say the fan base, it crosses over because it's you're still doing you, but it's cool because it's almost like another fan base.
Yeah, and people like gente se mueve.
Yes.
It comes on, it's like you see, and the girls like to dance to it. And,
absolutely.
If the girls are feeling it, then by default the guys are gonna feel it.
Absolutely. Dudes want what the girls want, and the girls are your biggest fans. I learned that from
Pac said it best. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So tell me some of your best moments in doing music as an artist. Obviously, we'll talk about the single, but aside from that, what are some of your best moments as far as doing music? What are you most proud of?
This is an easy answer for me. The United Players, shout out to Rudy of the United Players. He did an event inside of San Quentin jail, and he brought San Quentin, I forgot who else was there, but me and my boy Chopper, we were the Hardheads. We went too, and we got to perform inside of San Quentin prison.
Wow.
They had a certain amount of prisoners that were able to come and see the show. There was only like a yellow caution tape that separated us.
Really?
So it was pretty
But you
dope.
felt real safe.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Shit, yeah, I was nervous at first. You go in there, you get patted down.
Yes.
They're all. So I go in there, and all of a sudden, I hear somebody go, "Boo!" And I seen a homie in there, and his name was Harley St. Leon. He's in the United Kingdom now. The United States will not have him here anymore. Shout out to Harley. But I seen him in there, and he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" So there was a whole little section of San Francisco and Daly City cats that were together inside there, and we seen some Oakland cats in there that we knew, and it was dope because we started performing, and you seen everybody. It was like we brought them a piece of like the energy we gave them. Like I feel like it made them feel like they weren't inside of jail, and to be able to give somebody who's incarcerated that gift is it's to me it means so much because I've never been in jail, thank God. Right. And I don't want to be. But just to not be able to maneuver how I want to is already like I'm having anxiety thinking about it. So to be able to give them that peace and that joy, even for those minutes that we were performing, to me is one of my most proudest moments. And then my boy Chopper, he went under the caution tape and ran through the crowd and started high-fiving everybody. They were passing us joints. It was crazy. It was like surreal. Now that I look back at it, it's a memory that whenever God repossesses me, they say you'll have a tunnel of memories. I feel like that's going to be a good segment spent on that with a smile on my face because it was, I'll hold that dear to my heart.
Righteous, man, righteous. That sounds like you gave him a piece of freedom for a moment.
Yeah, for a little bit, man.
And that's always good when you're caged up. You get the clear mind and mentality of freedom is a good thing.
And they were feeling it too, so it made me feel like I don't suck at what I do, because if there was a crowd that was going to let me know that,
right,
you're whack, I feel like they would have been honest.
Yeah, who more honest than a bunch of prisoners with nothing to lose?
Yeah.
They're not going to pretend to like your music just because you're there.
For real.
Yeah. So, do you have any features or collaborations that you've done aside from the single that we'll discuss in a minute? Anything else that you're more proud of? I mean, I know you said that first one with Selsky was really memorable. What else stands out as far as some of the accomplishments, the songs that you've done and put together over the years?
There was a session that was, this session was dope to me. So I had hit JT the Bigger Figure to do a song, and we hadn't met in person yet, and he was like, come to the studio in the city. And then I was like, okay. No. Let me rewind. Killer Tay, I had to come do a song with him in the city. He was like, I'm at JT the Bigger Figures studio. Come here and you do your verse, I do my verse. I walk in with my homie J True, just the two of us. We walk in, it's like 30 fucking people inside the studio. The Gamblers were in there. I forgot it was hella people. It was hella more cats, whoever Killer Tay came with. And I go in there, nobody knows who the hell I am. Right. They just know that's, probably this dude right here, Killer Tay, who knows what they got going on, right? But they put the beat on and they were like, go ahead, you go do your verse first, right? So I didn't have contacts at this time, bro. So I had to put my fucking big Coke bottle glasses on, right? And they're all looking at me like, who the fuck is this dude? So I go into the booth, bro, and I came with it. Like, I heard, before I came out the booth, I heard all the oohs, so that was a proud moment. That was like, being a Latin rapper in that era, we were the minority, bro, because, there weren't too many of us. So, you had to earn your respect as an MC, as a rapper. Like if you weren't dope, they were going to let you know about it. And I feel in my heart that they recognized my craft. Oh,
you could tell by the response you were saying right now.
Yeah. So
that's the universal response when you go to a studio and people start snickering and making those ooh dang and those faces. Yeah, that you did work that day.
Yeah, I got so it was dope. Killer Tay, he was wrong. Proud of you, dog. I ran into him a couple of times after that at the Fairfield Mall, and he showed love. He still sent me messages on IG here and there. But that was a proud moment. Nice. I had a good time. JT took my number down. He was like, we're gonna make it happen. And shout out JT.
Nice.
So that was a good day for me right there.
Dope. I mean that's a good accomplishment when somebody you look up to recognizes you as a peer.
Yeah, because I grew up listening to Game, Recognize Game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And me and JT did a lot of songs for a segment in time that they were dope.
Nice, nice. Who are some of the other artists that you've worked with? Or people in the music game, as far as from the Bay Area or around the surrounding areas, that people would recognize?
Mac Mall, San Quinn, Total Devastation, Bernie from Total Devastation. Shout out to the homie Swin. I'm mentioning a lot of the new artists right now, Napalm, Eruption, all the people on Once Upon a Time in the Mission, but people that grew up listening to,
you named a lot already. I mean, that's quite a resume.
Yeah,
you don't have to brag. So, do me a favor and describe to the audience the type of music that you make. What would you classify it as? I know nobody likes to classify their music, but how would you describe it as far as the sound?
Right now, the music I'm making, I'm interested in pulling heartstrings and making you dance.
Okay, and why is that?
I want you to move. That's just where I'm at in life right now. When I was younger, my verses were harsher, and they were more like street orientated. And I still got bars, and I incorporate them into the style of music that I do now. But that's where I'm at in life right now. Like I've by the graces of God, I've went through some struggles. I went through some hard times, and right now I enjoy my life. I love my life.
Nice.
And I couldn't make music that misrepresented the feel that I have right now, because I do enjoy my life, and I don't forget. I'll touch on struggle and everything, but I want people to have a good time. I want people to enjoy themselves. I want people to when they hear music, if they're going through something, maybe my music can be medicine for their soul. If they're going through some shit, because I do encompass that in some of my songs, and I'll let you know I've been through some shit, but I also let you know there's a solution. Nice. For a long time, I abused alcohol, and November 1st, by the graces of God, I'll have 3 years no alcohol in my system.
Congratulations.
And it was the best decision I could ever make, because I was walking around like a zombie. I was walking around not present. I was putting myself in situations where I was jeopardizing myself, jeopardizing my family. Right. And it's the best decision I could have made. And I speak on this because for our people, it's a stigma. A lot of people, like our gente, they don't feel like they can say that it's an issue. But I'm here to tell you, you know what? It is. Like, for some of us, not all of us can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. If I can stop, you can stop. And there's a better way. Like, if you feel like it's impairing you, if you feel like, there's only so many times you can have a night where you went out and you partied like fuck, and you're like, fuck, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I didn't do that. I called this person. I was on the phone with them for how long?
Up sooner or later.
Yeah, it will. And if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm here to inspire. Mental health and addiction is a big thing right now. Yeah. And that shit needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, our people, we have a hard time. Well, it's not even a hard time. We just look down upon it when we show vulnerabilities.
Yes.
And when we show, hey, something's wrong with me, or I'm not okay right now, or I need help. So definitely appreciate you being an advocate for, speaking up, telling the truth. And let's be honest, when you're making a soundtrack to your life, that's going to be better music than when you're trying to pretend and portray something you're not. If you're happy, you should be making happy music. Amen. If you're struggling, that's when you make that struggle music. It comes with being authentic, I think. So the fact that you're making this type of music is because you're just being honest about what's going on in your life right now. I think that's the best music one can make.
Amen to that.
Yep. So tell us about the new single, the new video, new single, very, very highly successful. You tell us all about it, how did it come about, and who's on it.
So I have this new single. Well, actually, I am featured on the single. It's a Carlos Santana record, and the name of the song is Energia. The way this record came about, it's kind of a long story, but I'll compact it.
There you go.
So I got approached to do this song called Once Upon a Time in the Mission.
Right.
I got on the song, and it was a tribute to the area and to the Santana family and the impact the Santana family had on the Mission District. Right? So I got on the song, beautiful song, a lot of unity in there. You know, it was a big collaboration, successful, a lot of positive energy, right? People love it.
And not to interrupt, but I got to interrupt. You said the Santana family, and so you're a Santana,
yes,
and that is your family.
Yes, it is.
So it's all of you guys, not just you apart from them, right? So it's you're part of it, right? Right,
yeah, with pride.
With pride, there you
with
go.
Pride. My grandfather, Jose Santana, is who I'm named after. My father's Antonio. My uncle Memo. My uncle Carlos. I got a bunch of aunts. If I start mentioning their names, I'll forget one, and then they'll be mad. Right.
I just wanted to let people know that the family is very important to Northern California, more specifically your area. But all of us definitely respect and love everything your family has done for music and for Latinos in general. So
thank you,
salute
brother.
and appreciate that. But go ahead, you were saying.
So I did this song Once Upon a Time in the Mission. Beautiful, right? So there's a mural on 24th, and that mural has my uncle Jorge, rest in peace, from Malo Suavecito, my uncle Carlos, my grandfather, who I'm named after, my grandmother, and my cousin Salvador. It's a beautiful mural. They had an unveiling, and at this unveiling, I knew the people that were throwing it, and I was like, this would make sense to do the Once Upon a Time at this event. And I told them, don't say nothing. It's going to be a surprise, right? My uncle knew I did music, but he never saw me get down live. His aunt, his wife Cindy was there too. My dad, London Breed, all sorts of people, right? So I get up, I do the song, this video, right? And my uncle, he's feeling the shit out of it, right? My cousin Salvador was there. After I get off the stage, my uncle's wife, Cindy Blackman Santana, who's in his band, she was in the Lenny Kravitz band too. Beautiful person, beautiful soul. She texts me literally like 5 minutes. I got off the stage. She was like, "You're badass. We're doing some shit," right? So that I say that because that's kind of what started this whole musical relationship that is ongoing now.
Right.
After that, I put out my album Santana Vida, and the album cover is me in front of a Carlos Santana mural that's on 19th. Came out dope, right? One of my proudest albums. So a couple of days after the album releases, I get a text message from my Uncle Carlos. It's like 7 in the morning. And it goes, "Your Uncle Carlos and Mexicans from the Mission make a world of difference." I was 7 in the morning. I was like, what does this even mean? Right. So, you know, I told my wife, I'm like, look. And so I sent him a message back with me and my cousin Salvador, his son. We had shot some footage for Energia, which was already one version done. So I sent it back to him. We had London Breed in the video too. And I sent it to him. I go, well, the Chicanos are trying to do it too, Theo. So we were going back and forth. And then I finally said, hey, man, I got a song for you. Jump on it. He goes, send it to me. So I sent him the song, and it was Energia. And he goes, I love it. We were in the studio like 2 days later. Nice. And he played it. It was dope watching him do it. And the way that music came about, this guy who's involved with the song too, David Richardson, H-Deuce bail bonds, he got really sick with COVID and ended up in a coma. Okay, he was in a coma for like 2 months. His heart stopped like 3 times. And during that time, Gotos sent me the instrumental to end it here. He was like, hey man, I made this for Dave. Do something to it. And I heard the beat and I was like, oh, it's beautiful, right? So I ended up putting lyrics to it. And then Salvador, my cousin, ended up jumping on it. And we had a version that we put out. But it's just crazy because it all ties in. If I would have never done this song Once Upon a Time in the Mission, I would have never had this relationship with David that got deeper. Then he got sick. And while he was sick, I got the music from Julio because he was sick, right? And then from there, I have the conversation with my uncle. He wants me to send him a song. And I sent him this song that Energia that Julio got for David because he was sick. Right. So this is all like spiritually guided, bro. Divine guidance. And
it was
uncle,
meant to be.
Yeah, my uncle would have never known how I get down if he would have never seen me do them Once Upon a Time. So it's all crazy. It's all intertwined. And while Ace Deuce David was in a coma, I had my uncle send him a voicemail, bro, because I was collecting voicemails. My uncle says, hey, David, I know you're sick right now. You know, my prayers are with you. He goes, if you want to go to the light, go to the light. But if you want to stay, stay, you know. And if anybody knows my uncle, he knows, you know, that's how he is. And, you know, it's just, I could not have planned how all of this happened, bro. We could have put the song out 100 times. We could have put the video out 100 times, but it kept just getting better. We ended up doing the video at Carnival. in the heart of the mission, and shout out for the the love I received in being able to do that there. Then we went to Vegas, and we did footage there with my uncle in Salvador.
That's the one in the studio, right?
Yeah, Studio A in Las Vegas. Shout out. So it was just divine guidance is the best way I can describe how this song came to be.
Awesome. And what's the response been from everybody that that hears the record and sees the video?
Everybody's loved it from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's a great record. We played on the radio on Friday nights.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, Friday nights, 8 p.m., 95.5 FM here in the Central Valley. But have you got any other reactions from any other either like radio stations or DJs or anything like that? Anybody pushing the record, trying to get it out there?
So right now, oh my God, they're gonna kill me. There's a radio station in Corpus Christi, Texas. Santa Fe, I can't think of the names, but DJ Dan Matthews from Club Jumpers is helping us out, along with a gentleman named Aki Star, getting the record placed. And we're just beginning now. And I appreciate you guys and your platform for playing the record too. So we're pivoting now, and we're starting to gain some momentum on getting the record.
Absolutely. It's a great record, and all they got to do is listen to it. Once they hear it, they'll want to add it and definitely be a part of it. Anything else you want to cover before we go ahead and get out of here?
I do have an EP that came out a little bit before this. It's called Vibes.
Okay. And how can they go ahead and reach you?
They can
grab that.
If you go to my Instagram, Jose Santana Official 1, my link tree's there, but it's available on all digital platforms, powered by GT Distribution. Vibes, the album Vibes, it's dope. It's something you can definitely move to. There's some spiritual stuff on there. If like you're going through some shit, I got a song on there for you too. Just check it out. Vibes and Santana Familia. Those are the albums that are out right now, and the song in it here, obviously.
So you mentioned Gold Toast through GT Digital. How did you guys link up? Let's jump into that for a quick second. How did you and Gold Toast get together?
So I had put out the Lost in the Game album, and Julio had just put out 17 Reasons, like around the same time. And Julio, the way he is, if you're Latin and you're moving, like, well, how come he's not over here with me? You know what I mean? Yeah. So he reached out. Shout
out to Gold Toast. That's A1 for sure.
He had an office on Kearney Street back in the days, and I went up there, and they were getting ready to put the Mr. Key album out, right? And he was like, "Yeah, we're putting out this guy, Mr. Key," and I'm very competitive, and I had never even heard of Mr. Key, right? At that time, shout out Mr. Key, and I was like, "I don't know who that guy from. I'm way better, probably." You know what I mean?
Right.
And Key's a peer now, and we've done a lot of songs together. Key's a good dude, but that's how I met him. You know what I mean? And then we just started vibing, and we put out the album. He sent me a bunch of beats when he was in Texas on the run. Right. He would hop in, he would come down, and he would jump in the studio. Yeah. No, he'll tell you. That's all taken care of.
Okay.
So, yeah. But so he's just and we're actually related, like fifth cousins, something like that. Oh,
really?
Yeah. So we are. I had an auntie verify it, and so that's my primo. We're like but third cousins, fourth cousins, something like that.
Cousins are cousins, man.
Yeah. So no, we just we've been vibing. He has a really good ear for music.
Yeah.
Some of the best beats that I've rapped to are ones that he's picked up and sent my way, and he's good at what he does.
Nice. Shout out to Gold Toast, man.
Julio.
Shout out to Julio. All right. Anything else you want to go ahead and let the people know before we head out of here?
Well, thank you for having me here, and man, if you're going through something, just keep pushing. Because the only thing that's not reversible in this life is death and taxes. You feel me? Whatever you're going through, just keep pushing forward. Because 6 feet above the ground is better than 6 feet beneath it. Believe that.
For sure. Well, it's Mars Radio, Jose Santana, and we're out.
Thank you.